Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to really get under the surface of topics that matter to you. And today we're focusing on a challenge many face, fertility. Specifically, fertility when dealing with polycystic ovary syndrome or PCOS.
That's right.
It's a condition impacting, well, a significant number of women, maybe 6 to 12% of reproductive age women. So it's a major factor in infertility.
It really is. And it can feel, frankly, quite overwhelming for people navigating it.
Absolutely.
And when you look at why PCOS makes conception tricky, the big things are usually irregular cycles, sometimes issues with egg quality, and often anovulation, meaning ovulation just isn't happening regularly or at all.
Significant hurdles, for sure.
Definitely.
So that brings us to our deep dive today. We're looking at a complementary approach that seems to be getting, well, more attention. It's about integrating acupuncture and customized herbal medicine specifically for PCOS fertility. Now, obviously, it's not, a magic bullet for everyone. Nothing is. But this kind of integrative protocol has helped many people conceive. It works by targeting some very specific physiological mechanisms. So our mission here is to pull out the key insights from the material we've looked at to help you understand how this approach actually functions and, what it could mean for someone in your situation.
And what's really interesting, I think, is how precisely traditional Chinese medicine, using both the acupuncture and these personalized herbs, aims to address those specific PCOS barriers. It's fundamentally about trying to guide the body back towards a state of balance, to support its own natural reproductive functions.
Okay, so let's unpack that. The sources we reviewed seem to break this down into a few key areas where acupuncture and herbs can support conception for PCOS patients. The first one seems to be about reducing ovarian inflammation and boosting egg quality.
Exactly. We know PCOS often involves this kind of chronic, low-grade inflammation right in the ovaries. And that inflammation can really damage egg development and ultimately the quality of the egg itself.
So how do these methods actually fight that specific inflammation? What's the mechanism?
Well, with acupuncture, one of the main things described is how it significantly boosts blood flow to the reproductive organs. And this isn't just like general circulation. It's targeted. It brings more oxygen, vital nutrients, and importantly, anti-inflammatory compounds right to where they're needed. This whole process helps reduce oxidative stress, creating a healthier environment in the ovaries.
Okay, that makes sense. More resources, less stress.
Precisely. There was even a study mentioned, I think from 2018, that found acupuncture actually lowered certain inflammatory markers in PCOS patients. And that directly correlated with potentially better egg quality.
Okay, so that's the acupuncture angle on inflammation and egg quality. What about the herbs? How do the custom formulas play into this?
This is where it gets really synergistic.
Yeah.
The customized herbal formulas, they further support this by directly tackling oxidative stress at a cellular level. And they also work on optimizing mitochondrial function.
Mitochondria,
Yep.
the energy packs of the cells, right? Why is that so important for eggs?
Exactly. Healthy mitochondrial function is absolutely crucial. It's like the engine providing the power needed for an egg to mature properly. So the herbs aren't just generally supportive, they're kind of fueling healthier eggs from the inside out.
Yeah.
It becomes like a two-pronged attack on both the inflammation and compromised egg health.
Got it. Very targeted. Okay, so beyond inflammation, another huge issue for many with PCOS is just inconsistent cycles. Anyone who's dealt with it knows unpredictable cycles make timing conception incredibly difficult.
Right.
Ovulation becomes a guessing game.
It really does. And this is an area where acupuncture particularly is highlighted for its regulatory effects. The research suggests it works by helping to regulate what's called the hypothalamus-pituitary-ovarian axis, the HPO axis.
Right, the brain-ovary communication pathway.
Yes, it's like the central command for your reproductive hormones. So by helping to bring that axis into better balance, acupuncture promotes more overall hormonal equilibrium. And the key outcome there is hopefully more menstrual regularity.
And there's evidence for this.
Yeah, a systematic review from 2017 was mentioned, showing acupuncture improved menstrual frequency in women with PCOS. It did this partly by balancing levels of FSH and LH, which are, critical hormones for regulating the cycle.
Okay, so acupuncture works on the HPO axis signaling. How do the herbs complement that for cycle regularity?
The herbs come in by addressing some of the underlying metabolic issues that often throw cycles off in PCOS. A big one is insulin resistance. The sources pointed out that up to 70% of PCOS patients might deal with insulin resistance.
Wow, that's high.
It is. And tackling that insulin resistance is often really key to unlocking more consistent cycles and just improving overall hormonal health. It's about getting to those root causes that disrupt the cycle in the first place.
Makes sense. Addressing the foundation.
Hmm.
But I suppose the most direct thing people are hoping for is actual ovulation. We know anovulation, not ovulating, is a primary driver of infertility in PCOS. So how do these methods actually encourage the ovaries to release an egg?
Yeah, this is perhaps the most compelling part for many. The proposed mechanism for acupuncture here is fascinating. It might stimulate the release of Vim and endorphin in the brain.
Endorphins, like the feel-good chemicals.
Sort of, yes. But in this context, bimendorphin influences the secretion of another crucial hormone called GnRH gonadotropin-releasing hormone. GnRH is the master signal that tells the pituitary to release FSH and LH.
Ah, the same hormones needed for cycle regulation, but here they trigger ovulation.
Exactly. They ultimately promote the final maturation and release of the egg. There was a randomized controlled trial mentioned from 2019 reporting that acupuncture significantly boosted ovulation rates in PCOS patients compared to controls.
Especially when combined with standard care, I imagine.
Yes, especially when used alongside standard approaches. That direct impact on just getting ovulation to happen can be a real game changer.
So, whether someone is trying to conceive naturally or maybe using assisted technologies like IVF or IUI, fostering more regular ovulation through these methods could offer a significant advantage.
Precisely. The studies do emphasize that these interventions can be very effective. But it's also crucial to remember individual results will vary. It's not a guarantee for absolutely everyone.
Right, managing expectations is important.
Definitely. And in terms of commitment, the sources generally recommend a minimum of about 8 acupuncture sessions combined with taking the herbal therapy consistently to really start seeing noticeable improvements in fertility markers.
Okay, so it requires some consistency.
It does. And, we also see examples of places putting this into practice successfully for a long time. Like the Berkeley Center for Reproductive Wellness was mentioned.
In New York City.
That's the one. They've apparently been integrating acupuncture and herbal medicine with modern fertility treatments for over 27 years.
Wow, that's quite a track record.
It shows a long-standing commitment to this kind of integrative approach.
And it seems clear from the material that this kind of individualized care that really understands both the physical and the emotional side of infertility gets a lot of positive feedback from patients, but also apparently from reproductive endocrinologists too.
Yeah, which speaks volumes, I think, about the value of having deep expertise and a truly patient-focused approach on such a personal journey.
Okay, so let's quickly recap the core of our deep dive. We've explored how acupuncture and customized herbal medicine seem to support PCOS fertility through 3 main avenues. First, reducing that ovarian inflammation and working to improve egg quality. Second, helping to regulate the menstrual cycle, primarily via the HPO axis and addressing things like insulin resistance.
Right.
And third, directly promoting ovulation, potentially through mechanisms involving V-endorphin and GnRH.
Right.
And while outcomes can vary, the general recommendation seems to be at least 8 acupuncture sessions, plus consistent herbal use for best results.
Yeah, that's a good summary. And if we step back and look at the bigger picture here, this whole approach really highlights the power of, holistic wellness. It taps into the body's own ability to find balance. It's truly integrative, where you have this ancient wisdom, time-tested practices, meeting our modern scientific understanding to tackle something complex like PCOS.
It's not necessarily an either situation.
Not at all. It reinforces the idea that these methods can potentially enhance natural conception on their own, or they can significantly improve outcomes when used alongside assisted reproductive technologies like IVF or IUI. It just offers a broader, more personalized toolkit for people facing these fertility challenges.
This deep dive really makes you pause and think about how approaches that might seem quite different on the surface, like traditional Chinese medicine and modern reproductive science, can actually converge. And in converging, they can offer genuinely new pathways and maybe, importantly, new hope. It's less about choosing one over the other, perhaps, and more about exploring the potential synergy between them.
That feels right.
Maybe the real power lies in that combination, blending these time-tested, holistic practices with everything we're learning scientifically. It could unlock entirely new possibilities for health and fertility. This approach really seems to demonstrate how that blend of personalized care and evidence-informed traditional methods can empower individuals navigating these complex health journeys.